So let me introduce myself. My name is Aditya, and recently I did a webinar on JEE Mathematics. I am from IIT Bombay and currently pursuing my MBA at FMS Delhi. Sanjeet sir is my guru. He is my sir. He has taught me physics. He has taken me to new heights in physics, which I never knew that even existed. And it is an honor for me to host a webinar with him present as the key panelist. So without much further ado, I would like Sanjeev sir to just give whatever he has in the store for us.
Thank you, Aditya, for your opening lines and the appreciation you have been always giving. So, good evening, everyone, and hi, hello to all the students. Just to give a quick intro, my name is Sanjeet Singh Adarsh. I did my BTech from IIT Bombay in mechanical engineering. We both are from the same department, and in fact, I'll tell you, there was always a challenge which I used to give him कि मेरे रैंक को बीट करके दिखा और उसने बीट भी किया था actually by 20 ranks. So my JEE rank in 92 JEE was 561, whereas he got a rank of 541. So beat किया. Good. Anyway, that apart, after my mechanical engineering, I worked in corporate industry in Mahindra and Mahindra Limited. I was always in, my specialization courses, etc. in IIT Bombay were more of automotive design side. So worked in Mahindra and Mahindra Limited for 3 years. Then I moved to Pune and I joined a software company called PTC. There I was about for around say 11 years. And in between, somewhere in 2004, 2005 time frame, my mind started ticking like okay, I'm doing good in software, salary etc. is okay. I went to US for a couple of months and all that. All those things are okay on their side, but it was not giving me the kick which I always required or which I used to always get from physics. The second kick which I get is from music, but then of course first kick physics se hai, and I always wanted to then have my career related to physics. And even in my PTC days and my Mahindra and Mahindra days, I was always involved in solving physics related problems or discussing with my fellow mates, giving them some tough physics problems and having fun with that. So I decided in 2004, 2005 time frame that I should enter this teaching field and the mainly JEE teaching field, so that at the basic level, at the high school level, I can be engaged in an activity which hovers around very deep fundamentals of physics to be discussed, to be imparted, and to be taught and to be learned also while lecturing or while teaching somebody. Richard Feynman actually gave one line that the best way to master a subject, the best way to learn a subject is to try to teach it to somebody else. So I also, in a way, this line, very frankly, I got to know about this quote only 2 3 years back. But actually I've been doing this for long. So I started doing that in 2004-5 time frame. I entered this JEE coaching field, and say around from 2008 to 2010 to be specific, I am now having my own academy in Pune under the name of Srinivas Academy, which is very unique in that it is a single subject academy having physics as its subject. So I mean the only subject, and there we have a foundation course for ninth entering people, 2 year foundation course, and a 2 year advanced course for 11th entering student. And we teach for JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, and people who are interested in KVPY and Olympiads and all those stuff. So in a way, I can say high school related physics, whatever exams you want to finally give on it, more or less they hover around the same physics principles, right? Like Newton's laws will remain same whether you study it for JEE Main or KVPY or advanced or whatsoever, or even board examinations for that matter, right? Even board exams bhi hai to you can't write F equal to 2 MA. It even anyway remains F equal to MA only. So that's about me.
That's really a very stellar career which you have had since I think past 25 years now.
Yeah.
25
Last
years.
December only we had our Silver Jubilee reunion, a grand one at IIT Bombay. I was very much involved in the activities of coordinating it also. So revived all those memories. 3 days we stayed in IIT Bombay. So That was a fun.
Definitely. You also, like I remember, you also had some community engagement during that time where you, like collectively your batch donated some amount to IIT
Yeah,
Bombay.
yeah, we donated
How
about
good was it?
17.1 crore rupees to IIT Bombay. We around
Oh my
280
God.
students, we donated that amount.
17.1 crores.
Yeah,
So, guys, this is where you should see yourself in, say, 25 years. That's
right.
that is what it is all about. So, I'll
Mm.
start answering questions. My request to everyone in the present in the webinar is to post your questions in the Q&A section rather than on the chat, so it is more organized. So it's a humble request to everyone. Please start posting your questions. So we have a few questions right now. So, sir, first question and the most basic one, the reason why all of these have joined. Even I had that question when I was in 2014, which you answered quite perfectly. So let's see how the things have changed. And so the first question is, this is just 1 week before the JEE mains, right? The JEE
Right.
mains, the slots are starting from 20th. Some people have it
23rd, actually 23rd now. They have shifted it a
23rd.
little. Yeah, but
Okay.
1 or 2 days here and there, 8 days.
Yeah. So it's just 1 week.
Right.
And what is your final 1 week strategy? If you were to write JEE right now, rather than in 1992, you were to write it in 2022, which is 30 years later. Things have changed. So,
Yeah.
how would you strategize the preparation? What would you want the students to do?
See, Aditya, from a strategy point of view, I will say it doesn't change really that much. Or any number of years may have passed. The format of the examination has changed. But I'll tell you, for all the students, in such an examination, I mean, JEE mains or advanced, you may sometimes place advanced little higher than JEE mains or KVPY higher and lower. I mean, those rankings apart. But all these exams have one common feature that they will always try to test your real conceptual understanding first, and then your speed and accuracy also while attempting a question. Now, in the last 7 days or 8 days, whatever, or for that matter, even if this webinar was held 15 days before, I would have told in the last 15 days, there should be nothing new which you should try to master if you feel that you are not really strong in that area. See, most of you, I'm assuming most of you would have been really undergoing some sort of preparation for last 2 or more years, or at least 1.5 year, like last year, May, June, when you would have, or even more than earlier than that, when you would have entered your 11th standard. So after this preparation, I can say you can actually compartmentalize the entire subject, all the subjects, or let's say any subject for physics for that matter, in three zones. Right? One is a very strong zone, like my strong zone. Let's say I will say my strong zone is mechanics and electromagnetism. So I'm putting two modules. We can divide the entire physics syllabus for that matter in 5 modules, I say, usually. You'll find that is the standard one only. Mechanics, electromagnetism, optics and waves, thermal and molecular physics, heat and thermodynamics, all that, and modern physics. In JEE mains, we may say that there is little addition to the fifth compartment compared to advanced. That is about the peripheral topics. Those are important, and relatively higher stress has been given to those topics also, like semiconductors and communication and satellite systems, alternating current, little bit about entropy. These are actually not there in the advanced syllabus as such till 2022. In 23, they are actually incorporated in advanced also. But then what happens is, if you really see, questions in these sections are not really very, very tough also. And at the same time, when I say 5 compartments and you are having 3 zones now. One is a very strong zone of your own. One is middle zone, I can say, and one is the weak zone. If you don't have any weak zone, then it is very good. We should congratulate you, any student, that your preparation has been really good. But okay, we understand that the mass is huge. 9 lakh people are going to give. Not everybody will have the same kind of preparation levels. If you have something in your weak zone, don't try to master it in the last moment here. What can happen is you'll spend more time in that, and in the exam, if a moderately tough question also comes from that weak zone, then it may actually, if you're not able to solve it, it will unnecessarily, give you a moment of discomfort or few minutes of discomfort, which can actually spoil your next question also, which actually could have been from your middle zone. See, if it is from your strong zone, usually you will be able to do it in any temperament. I mean, even if अगर तुम्हारा मूड उतना अच्छा नहीं है, but if you are say very strong in mechanics, so then mechanics question कर ही लोगे तुम actually. But you are okay in say circuitry. I mean, circuit solving questions sometimes are messier. उनमें थोड़ा calculation करना पड़ता है, थोड़ा ऐसे ज्यादा कुछ करना पड़ता है ऐसा. And that time, if you are not in your comfort zone, then there can be a problem. So what we should always try to do is compartmentalize strong, okay, and weak. Forget about the weak. And I'm not saying, uh, this just to, pacify in some sense. Aditya, you can also elaborate here. You have been a student and you have been a J, you've seen seen the JEE journey so closely. You have actually seen the Olympiad journey also. That, see, uh, your weak zone, let's say anyone's weak zone, can it be 50% of the entire syllabus? I mean,
Definitely.
definitely not, right? जिसने भी ठीक
Yes.
ठाक तैयारी की है ना, उसके 20%, 15% टॉपिक्स हो सकते हैं वीक जोन.
Yes.
However skewed the paper is, let's say Aditya, your weak zone, suppose is thermodynamics, heat and thermodynamics is your weak
Mhm.
zone. Now,
Mhm.
however skewed the paper is, can the paper be of heat and thermodynamics having around say 40% weightage? 40-50% of paper सिर्फ heat and thermodynamics में आएगा कि कभी ऐसा?
No, no, no. Maximum three questions, three to
Three,
four.
four questions, right? So, and tell me now, leaving say very few aspirants who are really aiming for top 100, 200, 300 ranks, doing all these plethora of exams, right? You're going to give KVPY, you will be giving state level CTs, you'll be giving BitSat, you will be, of course, giving JEE Advanced. So once your first session is good, it will always help you in the second session. If your first session is not good, don't let this become a weakness of yours. What you should actually think is, okay, good that I got, one jhatka, let's say to say so. And now in the remaining 1 month, I will again go with this strategy. Make my strong and mid zone yet stronger, that I should be able to tackle everything. It is a given fact that 60 to 70% of the paper will usually come from your 60 to 70% of strong and mid zone. If you tackle that with 90% accuracy, you are anyway through. So, in a way, this could be the strategy that you compartmentalize, focus on strong and middle. For time being, don't worry too much about the weak. And while solving, also, I'll say, don't forget that speed and accuracy is very important. I mean, you should be fast in reading the question, understanding the situation of the question, correlating it with your knowledge. Okay, इसमें angular momentum conservation करना पड़ेगा, and then energy conservation करके typically any problem I am imagining, like a rod and some particle hits and it has to now go upright. So angular velocity you need to know and then it goes up. So now you know energy conservation करके etc जो भी ये solve करना है. But while solving, I mean, one part is getting the physics of the problem. Second is doing the mathematics of the problem. While doing mathematics, speed is important, but accuracy is also important. And in a negative mark based exam, it can actually be detrimental sometimes if for speed, you are actually sacrificing the accuracy. Many times, what can also happen is in what will happen, I should say rather, that the options will be also more or less little tricky in some sense. Like for this question only, let's say final answer was root GL by 2. Suppose the options would be root GL by F2, root GL by 8, root GL by 16, root GL by 32, or something of these type only. Now, what can happen is while solving somewhere you have missed one 2L का L कर दिया किधर तो solve करते करते. That is also not because of your physics lack of physics knowledge. It was only because of not having that cool temperament. I mean, being alert yet cool. That is the most biggest requirement in such examinations, or for that matter, in life in any critical situation. Be alert, but be cool. सो सॉल्व करते वक्त ना ऐसे ऐसे टेंशन में ऐसे माथा ऐसे करके ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. तुमको फास्ट तो होना चाहिए लेकिन माइंड में कूल चाहिए. सो दैट ध्यान देते 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 यू सॉल्व. डोंट मिस दैट L or 2L because that L or 2L will make your answer from root GL by 2 to root GL by 4. You are getting -1. In fact, you are thinking that you have done it correctly, but you are actually getting -1. This is a more bekar situation to say so.
Definitely, sir. And student, this is the same advice which sir gave to me, albeit a bit earlier in 11th standard itself, and that really helped me get my score from X amount to 2X amount in my 12th standard. So we have a student asking a very interesting question, sir. His name is Abronil, and he's getting 80 plus in physics consistently, but
Hmm?
can't push it further. So 80 plus, in my opinion, out of 100 is a good score.
Anyway, good score, yeah.
It's a good score. He's
Hmm.
facing problems in electromagnetic waves and gravitation. So
Hmm.
what should he do? I mean, like you just explained that the problematic chapters can be left out for a while. Uh,
Right,
in fact, an easier question can come from that chapter, and he might be able to do it in the paper if he
right.
does the rest of the 80 plus, which he's scoring right now, consistently on the day of the exam. Also, what is your take on this?
I'll say for electromagnetic waves, you stick to NCRT, read from NCRT again, try to solve few not so tough questions based on it. I'll also tell you one thing, what happens is many times when we teachers, I mean, I also belong to the coaching class fraternity, online, offline, any name you take. But what happens is sometimes during the course of our teaching, we actually tend to set, deliberately tougher papers. So Aditya, you also will be knowing while you were actually learning from me, my papers used to be very, very tough. But
Very tough.
at the end of the journey, when we were very near to examination, I actually used to taper down the paper, right? And you only used to tell me, sir, ये आपका पेपर लगता ही नहीं है, आपने बनाया है क्या सच में? But that is why I'm saying, in the end, trying to attempt papers of any coaching fraternity, sometimes what may happen is they will set slightly tougher papers. They're used to that. It is always better in the last to stick to the real examination papers. Now, we can in fact say thanks to multiple sessions of examination in the last 2, 3 years, we actually, I remember we have around 26 different question papers for 21 JEE mains, around 14 different papers for 2020 JEE mains, and I think 8 or 12 different papers for 2019 JEE mains. Now, if you count all these 3 years the papers totally, we have more than 45 papers. I'll in fact say perhaps hardly anyone will have time to in fact solve all of them really meticulously. So if you really feel कि एक topic में थोड़ा problem है, so just do one thing. Try to get questions of that topic from these papers and try to do them. Try to do them on their own first thing. Don't spend too much time. If you are not able to do, try to see solution from a reliable source. While seeing the solution, also see it step by step. See it one line. If you get a hint, कि, oh yes, ऐसे करना है. Remaining part you should do on your own. Do it this way, but don't. I mean, if you feel, let's say, we just say electromagnetic waves here. If you feel that this topic somehow conceptually only I have not understood clearly, if this falls in your weak zone, then I will in fact say don't now bother too much about it. Compared to this, let's say gravitation, you are saying problem usme bhi hai, but if gravitation is still lesser in the weak zone, then better you actually try to do gravitation. There may not be a question on gravitation, but gravitation is so related to all those field and potential and all those energy storage, energy stored in the field, all those related concepts which will actually be helping you in your electrostatics understanding also. There can always be a case where you solve a gravitation based question and a very similar question came in electrostatics. तुमको फायदा हो जाएगा उसमें.
So thank you, sir. I think no one could have answered this better. There are some more interesting questions here. So Nibras is asking, how much time should be dedicated for physics in the examination? So
See,
it's a
while
3 hour examination.
yeah,
So
yeah,
of
yeah.
that, how much can be given to physics?
Mm, understood. See, this is a very standard question everyone will be having, and uh, while there is no real, ऐसे बाइबल और गीता रिलेटेड और गॉड माउथेड आंसर ऐसा कि ऐसा मैंने बता दिया बस वो ही करो, ऐसा तो आंसर नहीं होता है इसका. इट अगेन बॉइल्स डाउन टू योर ओन कंफर्ट लेवल्स एंड ऑल. बट स्टिल, if we sum up experiences, I sum up experiences of my past students, I would say you should spend one third of the time for physics, save some time out of one third of the total time, save some time in chemistry, because chemistry, it is actually a very very interesting subject, and it is a very deep application of all physics principles. Rather, we can say deepest form of modern physics is chemistry. But many times, what happens is we initially at our high school level we learn chemistry from more from a factual point of view. So what happens is chemistry ka question ka na, what will really happen is why after seeing the question, if within few seconds you don't know the answer or you don't know what to do, it is actually very difficult now to get the answer from scratch. That is why what can happen is you can save some time on chemistry and spend that time on maths, I will say. Because invariably maths papers, many times they tend to be lengthier, and I mean, many times they are calculation intensive. I mean, not the numerical calculation, I'm saying, step intensive. थोड़ी ज़्यादा steps करनी पड़ेंगी. The exam being objective. See, we suppose some angle has been asked. Something is asked in the angle form. Now, saying sine inverse of half, the answer is there, no, right? If somebody is asking you something about 30 degrees, you have told sine inverse of half. Actually, you are 100% correct, right? Full mark should be given. But if the answer option is now in terms of cosec or cot or tan or whatever, you will have to now do that additional step of converting or bringing it into tan and answering. So in maths, this happens in physics also, but maths में तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया. तो maths में थोड़ा invariably ज्यादा time रखो, I will say.
Yes,
Typically, what we can do, Aditya, even you would have done that way. Like 15
yes.
मिनट तो chemistry का maths में डाल दो.
Yeah. So, ideally, like if I have to give a ballpark figure of number of minutes which you can spend on the three subjects, uh, e- roughly 50 to 55 minutes on physics,
Yeah,
40 minutes for chemistry, not
right.
more than that. 40 minutes for chemistry. The offset of 10-20 minutes which you have saved in physics and chemistry, you can add that to mathematics, and still we cannot guarantee that you will be able to complete the whole paper in mathematics, because
Right.
mathematics is highly lengthy. And from
Yeah.
the start itself, like when sir gave the JE, when I gave the JE,
Yeah.
the JE which is happening right now, mathematics is invariably very tough, because
Mm.
this is an exam for engineering, and in engineering mathematics is used rampantly. In
Yeah.
IIT we had courses though they were physics related, but the physics is not even the tip of the iceberg of a problem which we are trying to solve. It is calculations. They
Yeah.
want the students who are excellent at mathematics, and hence they make it a bit tough.
Yeah. Yes.
Indeed,
Fully agree.
indeed, yes.
Also, one more thing I can add over here is, while solving the paper, you should develop a habit of glancing the paper, not full at the time. Now, I mean, even in the online case, it is not so easy. In the paper format, we can still go through the paper and see कि क्या पूछा है. Here, you will have to scroll through the questions. So don't try to scroll everything or the entire paper. Take three, four questions at a time. Try to just have an idea, like right now I am here, but what are the next two, three questions? And out of those two, three questions, you should form one, mental as a, again, comfort and discomfort. Let's say three questions तुमने देखे. One is capacitor का कुछ तो circuit है बहुत सारा, and equivalent capacitance पूछा है. देखते ही you are not able to, I mean, just at the first glance, you are not able to visualize how to make it look like series parallel, or how to apply Kirchhoff laws, or even if somebody have studied star delta transformations, how to really get into it, ये नहीं समझा. तो immediately mark कर दो, okay, this question I will not take at least as of now. And out of the now remaining two, you saw one is from gravitation, simple question है, और कुछ तो circular orbit etc कुछ तो पूछा है बस. And एक थोड़ा नीचे थोड़ा टफर क्वेश्चन है, बट विद इन योर कंफर्ट जोन. लेट्स से हीट ट्रांसफर का कुछ तो पूछा होगा विद इन योर कंफर्ट जोन. बट ग्रेविटेशन इजी लगा था ना देखते ही, तो बस अभी कैपेसिटर छोड़ देंगे. मतलब ये क्वेश्चन करने को लिया है जो ये तो पहले के 3 के सेट का है. Now out of these 3 you should know that after I go from this question I will actually first pick that gravitation one, then the capacitor one, then I'll go for next 3, because this capacitor one you have already marked as not my comfort zone. So have this strategy in your mind.
Of course, that really helps. Having a vision, like a
Hmm.
pre-vision of the paper would
Revision.
help you a lot. And this we used to do. See, as sir said, it is very easy for a paper pen type of an exam.
Yeah, that
Since now
time
it is
you benefited.
online,
Hmm.
you may not be able to see the whole question paper, or there is an option actually in CAT, which I remember, sir. There is
Hmm.
an option that you can see the question paper at the
Okay.
top of the in the top right corner. I am not sure if there that is there in JE right now, but if
Hmm.
it is there, well and good. So go through the whole paper at once. Check
Hmm.
out what to do, what not to do. Make a mental strategy in the first 2 or 3 minutes of your exam, and that will
Yes.
definitely save you a lot of marks, which you might lose out, a lot of time in the future, and you will get A college instead of going to a B college. Exactly.
Yeah. And actually, I'll tell you, maintaining a cool temperament even in adverse situations, that will also really help. For
Of
that, I
course.
will say utilize these remaining 7, 8 days, to tame yourself even from a physical perspective, physical and situational perspective, I will say. Like if you're used to giving exams in your coaching classes, थोड़ा अच्छे situation में बैठ के, or at your house, AC लगा के, fan लगा के, what you should do is actually switch them off. Deliberately, deliberately sit on a wooden chair if you can get. Deliberately you should sit on plastic chair if at all, or switch off the AC, switch off the fan also, room बंद करके sweat होने दो. You accordingly wear a cotton t-shirt, or I mean whatever suits you, थोड़े loose से easy से कपड़े पहन लो, and give the examination in that format also, because you never know what happens there. And that time, things are so much in the nick of time. Like, say for example, there's some problem in the chair what you got at the exam center, and now you are requesting the invigilator to change the chair, and the invigilator says, I mean, you are actually requesting change the machine. Can I get a different cubicle? Most likely, even this invigilator won't agree, because now you are already logged in and set to chuka hai machine ID with your roll number and all. So he will say, no, no, I'll get some chair for you. But how much it is guaranteed that the next chair also will be better or good? In fact, it could be worse. It could be a plastic extra chair. वो वॉचमैन की चेयर लाके तुमको दे देगा, जल्दी इस पे बैठ जाओ. तो यू शुड बी यूज टू इट. ओके, ठीक है, अभी जो भी चेयर मिली समाव करना है मुझे ऐसा. Usually these centers, TCS centers, are used for examination. They are better equipped. They are they have their own boundary wall, and they are not too much road facing and all that. But still, we can't guarantee such situations in all cities, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. There could always be, a marriage procession going पीछे से. So while you are actually solving, पीछे से डम 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 बच के some procession has gone. Now you should not get distracted with that also. Like, let it go. So बस focus completely over here. Keep your mind positive that have a confidence also at the same time that मैंने दिल से मेहनत की है 2 साल. टफ भी लग रहा है ना ये पेपर, तो शायद सबके लिए टफ हुआ. मेरा थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है, तो इसका मतलब बाकियों का भी ऐसे बहुत अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है. Relatively, I will be still having a decent result. Have this in mind. At the same time, have this thing in mind that finally, what you have really learned through this JE preparation and your attitude, your perseverance, this will take you longer in journey, in your actual life journey, than just a mere tag of IIT or bits or whatever. Keep this confidence in yourself. It will always help you.
Definitely. Those are wise words, sir. I can't expect anything else from you. Definitely. So there are some more questions, sir. One of an interesting question here is, uh, I have not started my preparation yet for this attempt. He
Mhm.
has not really, maybe due to some reason, Keshav is asking this question. And how would you ask him to maybe for this attempt and maybe next attempt, how will you be able to guide him?
Mhm.
And there can be a lot of students like that, sir, due to some, this was a tough time for all of us. It was COVID.
Mhm.
There are
Mhm.
family problems which happen, and some students can't really focus. Maybe they are going through something, maybe
Right.
something else. Maybe there is a change in plan. Initially, I thought to do MBBS. Now I want to move back to JEE. A
Mhm.
lot of
Mhm.
things can change. It's uncertain. In
Right.
this case, what would you suggest?
See, I will tell you one thing. Assuming that you told that you have not prepared for this session. So from this, I am assuming you have otherwise studied. You have studied for J. You have studied those chapters. You have studied this subject so far. If that is the case, I'll tell you still around half of the paper would be within your reach because finally it is based on concepts and your deep understanding. You can still always tackle those type of questions. And even in this short time, best thing what you can do is take 3, 4 past year papers or 3, 4 sets, I would say, and try to solve those papers in these days also. This is for the first attempt, I'm saying. Once you give your first attempt, you will actually have a better idea about, how it went, what went nice and what went wrong. And if you found that, physics maths तो अच्छा कर सका, chemistry बिल्कुल ठीक से नहीं कर सका. So, then you will come to know, okay, that means what? Though I have studied chemistry, it was the lack of last minute revision which has spoiled my chemistry performance. So then try to give little more time in the remaining 1 month for that particular subject, which went bad in this first attempt. So I will say, see, there is a line in Hindi, we say, जब आँख खुली तब सवेरा समझो. So what was the name? Nachiket? हाँ, Keshav, Keshav. So Keshav, uh, don't be frightened because of this कि मैंने इस अटेम्प्ट के लिए प्रिपेयर नहीं किया. ऐसे भी बहुत स्टूडेंट्स होने वाले हैं. Start from today. After this seminar, I should say, once you get out of this seminar, wash your face, take up JEE paper and 7:30 to 10:30 रात को solve कर लो. Previous year का कोई पेपर लेके. It will surely help you.
Definitely, sir. So, Keshav, I hope you have heard the answer. After this webinar, try to solve JEE Mains, let's say 2020,
Yeah, 2020 का एक
get
सेशन लगा
ahead
था.
with it.
Hmm.
Get ahead with it. Yes. काल करे सो आज करे सो अब.
बिल्कुल वैसा ही
Yes.
करो.
All right, sir. Sir, there is one more question.
Hmm.
Let's say, like if you had to, name five most important topics based on your experience as a teacher, as a student, in physics,
Hmm.
which you think have a good weightage in JEE Mains and I'll be JEE Advanced as well. So, what would
Hmm.
those five topics be?
Okay, then I will say from core mechanics section, I will say anything to do with rotational motion and conservation laws. Conservation laws put together, be it angular momentum or linear momentum or energy. So a mixed question from say conservation laws and rotational motion. And then one could be, I will say, core electrostatics, something related to do, with your real fundamental understanding of electric field, electric potential, and energy. Definitely something from circuitry, let it be DC circuits or AC circuits. So even that is an important area to be mastered. Electromagnetic induction, surely inductance and electromagnetic induction core format, that electromagnetic induction. Uh, and from JEE mains point of view, I will, as I told you, those peripheral topics also surely something related to semiconductors and communication satellites and all that. And then if you have really nicely mastered ray optics, then surely ray optics also is say the fifth one I can say, or not necessarily in the order, but top five अगर लेना है topics, so I can say core mechanics more centered around conservation laws, core electrostatics centered around your understanding of field potential energy, circuitry, AC and DC both put together, RC circuits also in that as well, and core electromagnetic induction, that is magnetism side real understanding, and then optics and thoda sa the peripheral topics. See, heat and thermodynamics, somebody may say, sir, आपने thermal तो पूरा ही छोड़ दिया इसमें. I may say some part of heat and thermodynamics you would have anyway done in chemistry. some understanding would have been developed from there. In physics, it is only the sign convention which changes. So keep that in mind. And that if you have done chemical thermodynamics also nicely, it will always help you in the physics side of thermodynamics. And it is vice versa also. If you are good in physics ka thermodynamics, वो उधर help करेगा.
Thermodynamics is there in both the subjects, and if it is not strong here in physics, it must be okay there in chemistry. So that will automatically become strong here in physics. Definitely, that is what I would also suggest. Uh, okay.
Aditya, in fact, you may add some topic if you feel important.
No, I fairly, in my opinion, in my experience, mechanics, electrostatics, ray optics, wave and optics, a bit of it,
Circuit
and the
related
peripheral topics like
topic.
semiconductors, theory-based topics, because there you just need one reading from NCRT to get a hang of.
Yes,
Just
right.
one reading from NCRT is
वन
sufficient.
वट वन काम रीडिंग कूल एंड काम आई मीन
Cool and
अच्छे
calm
से
reading.
टाइम लेके उसको ऐसे हड़बड़ी मत करो कूल एंड काम रीडिंग करके अंडरस्टैंड भी करना है इट्स नॉट ओनली रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ दैट
Of
वन
course,
पैराग्राफ एट अ टाइम जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इट ओके दिस इज व्हाट इट हाउ इट हैपेंस इट विल
definitely.
श्योरली हेल्प
Definitely, definitely. So, sir, there is one more a bit technical question, I would say. What should be a threshold mark, like which one can set for this attempt in JEE? I believe it's for 100 marks.
see what happens is if we go by last year some statistics and last year analysis I also did some analysis there. Actually, the variance, the total spectrum of variation in marks last year, because of too many number of sets, was really huge. If I remember, there was about, there were about, out of the 26 papers, let's say one toughest session and the easiest session. People having finally the same percentile were actually having a difference of about 45 marks. I mean, think of it this way that somebody getting 180 in toughest, in the easier paper will get the same percentile more or less as somebody getting 140 in that tougher paper. Now, 40 marks का अगर variation हो सकता है तो it is difficult to say, to set one ballpark marks based on an exam which is held in multiple sessions like this. But still, I will say, if you are above 50%, you are anyway in a very very good zone of getting some decent national system based institution 50 to 60% में अगर आते हो तो beyond 60% is anyway very good beyond 70% I will say you are an advanced level का candidate you should actually be focusing on advanced then तो ऐसा एक range रख सकते हो
Alright, definitely. Yes.
the cutoff is much lesser please remember that the cutoff is much lesser also at the same time think of it this way out of the 9 lakh 10 lakh people who will be giving mains about say 2 lakh are going to give advanced now typically if you are in that 2 lakh zone it anyway means that overall high school level ki jo engineering aspirant crowd hai country ki you are anyway in the top 20% of that. Now, clearing JEE mains to just get into advanced is about 105, 100, sometimes even 95 marks total. So it is not even, it is hardly 35%. If you are in that zone, you are still in the top 20 percentile bracket of the entire country. कुछ decent colleges में मिल ही जाएगा. And as I again told you, tag matter करता है. We all have that love for that tag. But in the long run, it is again and again I'm saying your actual attitude, your learnability, when you go to some industry, when you start your career, how well you adapt over there, वो बहुत ज्यादा काम आएगा actually.
Definitely, and I'm glad sir pointed this out. I don't think he'll say this on his own, but I know his son, Nihal Singh Adarsh. Nihal was also an aspirant like you all in
Right.
2018, yes,
2019, 19.
2019
He
JEE.
just finished his third year now.
Yeah, yeah. So he was in 2019 JEE. During the JEE preparation, the things were, he had prepared a lot. But see, anything can happen on the day of the exam.
Yeah.
Anything can happen on the day of the exam. So the tag which everyone is, hyping about, so he really did not
Get that time.
we
Yeah, I
made
mean,
very
नहीं,
important.
yeah, let's be brutal about it. JEE में तो नहीं मिला.
More
JEE
so
means की,
because he saw his dad, like, obviously if you are a son of an IITian, you would be expected to become an IITian. All sir students whose examples which were sent to him,
right,
they were all IITians, they were all doing something great. But Nihal studied in KJ Somaiya College of Engineering. It's a very good college. It's a regional level college in Mumbai.
right,
But from there, he invented a device, I would say, innovated a device, in fact,
right,
to ensure that there is ventilation in a PPE kit.
right.
And
He
you must be
he got a
knowing
India,
him from Shark Tank.
yeah,
All
he
of
got an
you
India
have
patent.
definitely seen him in Shark Tank. He was the one to walk out of there with 101 rupees, I guess.
Yeah, 101
Yeah,
rupees, four
and with
sharks, four sharks out of five. The youngest on the Shark Tank sets this time, 19-year-old boy on Shark Tank. His episode was aired for 9 minutes. The actual shooting went on for 1 hour totally. And the main thing is, he got his patent registered for that device. He has filed for an international patent also, Indian patent already granted. And he got a scholarship of 10 lakh from Department of Science and Technology. He got a grant of 5 lakh from Somaya College internally. So, and appearing on Shark Tank, getting a project in IIT Bombay. Yesterday in IIT Bombay also, he has done something so innovative that there is a chance, I cannot leak out too much information here now, but I can tell you there is a chance that he may be filing his second patent also.
definitely. So, okay, coming back to the questions, sir, this is a very important question since these students were studying for 12th standard for boards as well.
Mhm.
How do they recapitulate the 11th standard wala portion?
Um, Spend little more time on revising the 11th standard portion, because if your board examination was based on only 12th and last few months you have been spending on that, then you have to actually take back those 11th standard notes, and mostly I'll say you start revising from your own handwritten notes at the last moment. It is always better that if you have done so, you should always be revising from your own notes. वो कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी लिखते वक्त कुछ तो मार्क किया ही होगा तुमने, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, वो अपनी हैंडराइटिंग का मार्क हमेशा जल्दी दिखता है अदर देन कहीं और से इंपॉर्टेंट दिखना. So revise from that. Spend little more time on the 11th standard topics. उसमें से भी important ones. उसमें से भी I will say again compartment करके strong, mid and weak वाला compartment करके कर दो. मतलब there is no point in spending too much time on your weaker topic of 11th standard. It is always better to then spend little more time on your stronger topic of the 12th standard, so that उसमें से जो जो आएगा वो तो कर ही लूंगा मैं पक्का, ये गारंटी होनी चाहिए.
Okay, all right, definitely. Compartmentalize is, I think, the mantra which all the students can have
Yeah.
in this final week of JEE prep, and you will do good. This is definitely my experience as a teacher, as a student. Even I taught, looking at such great teachers. Even the teacher inside me had awoken like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he
And
Aditya has taught in Srinivas Academy also. Few
yes,
topics which somehow sometimes I don't feel very good at it. I can say, और ऐसे ठीक है इस साल मुझे ये पढ़ाने का मन नहीं कर रहा है, आदित्य तू पढ़ा ले, तो ऐसा करके आदित्य ने भी कुछ कुछ पढ़ाया हुआ है.
definitely.
And I have always had that trust कि okay, मैं अपने बैच को आदित्य के हवाले कर सकता हूँ, वो अच्छे से पढ़ा देगा. So he has taken
Those
two
are
three
kind
years.
words.
Yeah.
Those are kind words. Thank you. Archit has a question in the exam.
Hmm.
How will the rough sheets, like, I mean, like, do we need to solve a lot on the sheets, or just read, or just the important part? So this is an interesting question in my opinion, and I think I can answer this.
हाँ. I
So
think rough sheets की कमी नहीं होती है, वो देते हैं A4 sheets बहुत सारे.
they will give rough sheets,
हाँ.
but I've seen some students, sir. Some students, what they do, no, ऐसे गिचमिच ऐसे खिचड़ी कर देते हैं पूरी. लिखते हैं एक क्वेश्चन, लिख लिया, उसका आंसर आ गया. They want to revisit it again. They need to solve the whole question again from the scratch. So how can someone minimize that? So this is also an error which occurs a lot of times. You have solved it, then you thought कि okay बहुत लंबा जा रहा है, I'll have to try it again. But there are some things which you have done correctly before. to revisit that? What is, in your opinion, a better strategy? To start from the scratch again, to revisit the question, or just take some information which you know is correct
Mhm,
in the
mhm.
previous attempt?
It is always better actually to reuse information which you know is correct. For that, I'll say it is uh, you should your rough work also should not be very rough. एक थोड़ा ऑर्गेनाइज्ड करने की कोशिश हमेशा करनी ही चाहिए. लाइक यू ट्राई टू सॉल्व ऑल दी थिंग्स ऑफ वन पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन इन वन जोन ऑफ दैट रफ शीट. आई मीन आधी रफ शीट में क्वेश्चन नंबर 13 थोड़ा थोड़ा ट्राई करके छोड़ दिया, फिर इमीडिएटली क्वेश्चन 14 पे ध्यान गया, अरे ये तो काइनेमेटिक्स का है मुझे आता है, उधर ही 14 करना शुरू किया. नहीं, तुमने 13 थोड़ा आधा अधूरा ट्राई किया था ना, थोड़ी जगह छोड़ दो वहां पे, थोड़ी लाइन माना वो नीचे एक झट से, और अभी 14 अलग से करो. See, you never know that at the end now you have 2-3 minutes remaining and you thought, oh वो क्वेश्चन नंबर 13 फिर से देख लेते हैं. तो then what you can do is वो जो जगह बची थी ना वहीं पे you can try doing. It will always help you to at least come into the thoughts of that question by seeing your own rough work. Sometimes I will say आदित्य even rough work शायद wrong भी होगा, लेकिन रफ वर्क में तुम्हें दिख तो गया ना कि अरे हाँ इसको मैंने रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी से ट्राई किया था, चलो उसी पे आगे बढ़ते हैं. सर दिख जाएगा कि अरे अब रिलेटिव से लेके सॉल्व किया, फिर इधर क्वेश्चन वापस पढ़ा, माइंड में फ्रेम किया, अभी फिर से उधर करने लग गए रिलेटिव से. तो वो जो टिक मिल गई ना कि रिलेटिव से करना था, ये मिलने के लिए अगर फिर से क्वेश्चन पढ़ के कैसे करने का, व्हाट शुड आई डू हियर नाउ, ओ इट कैन बी डन बाय रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी. थिंक ऑफ इट, अभी ये बोलने में ही मैंने 5-6 सेकंड डाल दिए, लेकिन अगर मैं देख लेता हूँ अच्छा रिलेटिव से ट्राई किया, 4 सेकंड तो बचे ही है ना अभी भी ये बोलने में,
Definitely, definitely.
फायदा होगा.
Again, an important question here. Since these 7 days are most crucial, or here is what will set their course.
Yeah.
As like they have prepared for
Stick
2 years.
to timing, then stick to timing. If you have any habits of afternoon nap or something, cut it. You should have cut it actually from long back, I will
From
say.
long back.
Stick to timing. Give as many test papers as possible exactly in that time zone, 9:30 to 12:30, 2:30 to 5:30. If by tomorrow, let's say तुमको मालूम ही पड़ गया, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, मालूम पड़ेगा actual slot. By today, they have only given you the city. If you know the slot, then you try to give all the more exams in that slot. Don't eat any outside food. Just stop outside food for these days. You should have stopped it 3-4 days behind only. From today onwards, outside food कुछ मत खाओ. Somebody is staying in hostel only, वो बोलेगा मैं क्या करूं सर. तो जहां से तुमको पता है सिंपल सादा खाना अच्छा आता है उसको स्टिक करो, कुछ एक्स्ट्रा ऐसे एडवेंचर मत करो. डोंट टेक ऐसा एक्सट्रीम फूड्स, आइसक्रीम, टू मच तीखा, ऐसे मत करो. वी नेवर नो, तुमने किसी दिन आइसक्रीम खा ली, उसके साथ कुछ तला हुआ भी फ्राइड आइटम यू हैव टेकन, नाउ यू हैव टेकन आइसक्रीम आल्सो, इट इज नाउ नो troubling your throat. The climate also is changing, थोड़ा रेनी सीजन आ ही रहा है, राइट. अब कैन यू अफोर्ड टू हैव टफ वाइल एग्जाम, वाइल यू आर गिविंग पेपर, मतलब बीच बीच में ऐसा करके पेपर लिख रहे हो, इज इट गुड? It will in fact be disturbing the fellow students also and more to you in fact. So keep a complete check on your health, on your mind temperament also. I will say don't even read newspaper if you have any habit. उधर की भी नेगेटिविटी तुमको मन में कुछ याद रहेगी. जस्ट कट डाउन ही कर दो ये सारी चीजें. स्पेंड गुड क्वालिटी, इमोशनल गुड क्वालिटी टाइम विद योर इमीडिएट रिलेटिव, मतलब एकदम मम्मी डैडी भाई बहन के साथ लव के साथ रहो, एकदम ऐसे पॉजिटिव मूड में रहो. फूड वुड को कट डाउन करो, अच्छी स्लीप लो. डोंट थिंक दैट ये रह गया है मेरा, वो रह गया है, थोड़ा रात को और जाग के आई विल स्पेंड 1 hour मोर एंड ये भी कर लेता हूँ वो भी कर लेता हूँ. एज आई टोल्ड यू, इफ यू आर पैनिकिंग कि अरे मेरा तो एंट्रोपी तो मुझे ठीक से आता ही नहीं है, मैं 2 दिन पढ़ लेता हूँ अच्छे से, लास्ट मिनट में वो पढ़ के क्रैकिंग ए क्वेश्चन is less likely. Instead of that, if you take a proper sleep, get up early and study something which is in your strong zone. Make it so strong that whatever questions comes in that zone, I'll anyway answer it. This is always better.
Definitely. So these are the things which one should very well understand. Keep your. I'll add a few more points onto this, as sir said. Keep your biological clock stable. For to do
Yes.
that, you need to have good food inside you so that you don't get any kind of any risk at all.
right.
But times are tough. COVID is still there. It has
Yeah.
not gone.
कोविड इज
We
देयर,
need to take
क्लाइमेट
care of
चेंज हो रहा
yourself.
है, लाइक
Climate
मॉनसून
change is
टाइम आ
there.
रहा है,
Yes, yes, definitely,
तो वायरल एक्टिविटी एनीवे ज्यादा एक्टिवेटेड रहती है ड्यूरिंग दिस सीजन, राइट? सो
definitely.
ऑल दोस थिंग्स यू हैव टू टेक केयर। इफ यू हैव स्पेक्स, टेक केयर ऑफ दी स्पेक्स। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि स्पेक्ट टूट गया एकदम ऐसा पहले। इफ यू कैन प्लान टू हैव एन एडिशनल सेट ऑफ स्पेक्स, प्लान इट, आई विल से ऑलवेज बेटर।
Okay.
Again, situation hogi, I mean, there are financial situation, social situations, or logistical situation, you stay in hostel, now you don't have time to go there, then okay, but अपने स्पेक्स को देन एक थोड़ा अच्छे एनक्लोजर में रख के कैरी करने की हैबिट डालो। क्योंकि स्पेक्ट टूट गया तो एग्जाम के एक दिन पहले, मेरे लिए तो लाइक मुझे तो दिखता ही नहीं है ठीक से स्पेक्स के बिना कंप्यूटर। अब मैं स्पेक्ट अगर टूट गया मेरा, टोटल फेल हो जाता है मेरे लिए सब कुछ, राइट? सो दीज आर स्मॉल स्मॉल थिंग्स, बट keep track of these things and keep them in check.
All right. And one more question, a simple question. In these last 7 days, do we need to, like focus on attending the classes more or focus more on the self-study part?
I will say self study at this last moment. It is always self study because you need time, for yourself. How am I really handling things? Try to simulate that at your house, as I told you, पंखा बंद करके गंदे कंडीशन में गंदी सी चेयर में बैठ के एग्जाम देना, अभी उस पे ही रहना चाहिए। I mean, finally it is, see, it is like you have been taught by a guru to fight, ठीक है? तो तुमको तलवार चलाना, तीर चलाना सब आता है, लेकिन इवेंचुअली वॉर तो गुरु नहीं लड़ेगा ना, वॉर तो तुम ही लड़ोगे, राइट? मैदान पे जाके। तो एक पॉइंट के बाद गुरु का, वो बोलते हैं ना, गुरु के हाथ से उंगली छूटनी चाहिए तुम्हारे, और तुमने खुद से अभी मैदान में आना चाहिए। दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट।
Definitely. So, sir, yes, I think we have covered most of it. Final few words for the students to motivate them. We, you
I'll say have faith in your preparation, have faith in the blessings and wishes of your loved ones, your friends, and your relatives, immediate relatives, whoever. Have faith in your preparation mainly, I'll say. And um, keep positivity around you, induced by your own कि नहीं मैंने किया है, 2-3 साल से मैं इसके पीछे लगा हूँ, अच्छा ही जाएगा मेरा। एंड एज आई टोल्ड यू अगेन दैट इवेंचुअली लॉन्ग रन में, if you have actually done your preparation nicely, it will help you. See, it is like this. Preparation of JEE, I'll say, is like you have signed up for a, say, 100 मीटर रनिंग स्प्रिंट रेस, फास्ट रेस के लिए साइन अप किया, उसकी ट्रेनिंग ले ली तुमने। सो एवरी डे तुम्हारा कोच तुमको 1-1, 2-2, 5-5 किलोमीटर भगाता है, भगाता है, भगाता है। फाइनली एक दिन आ गया वो इवेंट और तुमने वो रेस तुम भाग गए। इज इट, आई मीन, 10 पीपल ने वो रेस किया, लेट्स से, किसी को तो 10th आना पड़ेगा, राइट आदित्य? किसी को फर्स्ट भी आना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? लेट्स से तुम 10th ही आ गए हो, तो भी टेल मी वन थिंग, compared to so many people remaining who didn't even go for this training, तुमने वो ट्रेनिंग ली है, तुमने वो रेस दी है, भागे हो तुम, 10th ही आ गए हो लेट्स से उसमें फिलहाल, लेकिन तुम्हारे मसल स्ट्रांग नहीं हुए क्या उससे, उस ट्रेनिंग से? मसल्स तो स्ट्रांग हुए ना, कंपेयर टू सो मेनी पीपल जिन्होंने सोचा नहीं नहीं, आई डोंट नो, आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर आई विल बी इन टॉप 3 इन दिस रेस, सो आई विल नॉट टेक पार्ट ऑन इट। दैट फेलो तो कांट इवन वॉक प्रॉपरली, whereas you have really strong muscles। ठीक है, इधर 10th आए हो, लेकिन मसल स्ट्रांग हो गए हैं, कहीं ना कहीं ये काम आएंगे ही आएंगे। keep that in mind। तो don't be just too much worried also at the same time, it should not go into an overconfidence, अरे फिर तो कुछ भी नहीं करूंगे, हमने बहुत पढ़ाई की, सब कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा। ऐसा मैजिक नहीं होता है ऑफ कोर्स, बट ओवर ड्रेडफुल भी होने की जरूरत नहीं होती कभी।
of course. So this was all from our side. Sir, is it okay if I share your email ID and my
Yes,
email
I was
ID?
about to tell you that there would be really many questions remaining. I don't know whether how much I will be able to devote time to give satisfactory answer to all of them, but surely I'll try, or maybe some other method. I'm even open to if we can create a small group or something. where you and I remain in the group from Shiksha side or something, some WhatsApp group or any group, so that some collective questions, doubts we can answer and they can, everybody can benefit from it. Perfectly, no problem.
Definitely, I'll definitely work on this
Huh,
and make this happen because it's not just this attempt we are talking about. It
right.
is the next attempt, the JEE Advanced,
The
which
remaining
a
exams,
lot of
right?
exams are there.
Lot
And
of, right? Big state exams, ISER exams, separate ISER test is there for pure sciences and all that. Yeah.
so, one last thing, sir. I
Hmm.
think I wanted to experiment with this a bit.
Hmm.
And is it okay if I allow one of the students to talk to you and get any question which has not been answered yet?
Huh?
He wants to talk
Cool.
to me.
Yeah,
His name
yeah,
is
yeah.
Naveen. Naveen, I am allowing you to talk. You can unmute yourself and talk. I think he wanted to. Anyway, it's okay. Things have been really amazing. I hope we have answered all your queries. I have dropped Sanjeet sir's email ID onto the chat. Please check that out. Please mail us in case you have any queries. I'm putting mine as well.
Hmm.
And all the best for the exams. Thank you, sir, to give your precious time to us. Let's
Always, anytime for you, anytime for the general students community. Anyways, it was my pleasure,
thank you
Aditya.
so much, sir. Thank you so much. And goodbye, everyone. All the best, all of you. I need to see all of you get into college of your choice.
Right.
And if we were able to contribute anything, that would make us happier than ever.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel.